Hello everyone, it's Tracy at For the Love of Stamping and welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to share with you a fancy fold card that is a gatefold card with a hidden gift card holder on the inside. To create the card, you're going to need various supplies. On my card here, I've used the Fine Art Floral DSP, some Rococo Rose cardstock, the Butterfly Gala punch, as well as some of the in color enamel dots. You'll notice my card here, I have a belly band, and the belly band is stretching around the card vertically as opposed to horizontally. And the reason why I did that is because what it does is it will secretly cover over where the two folds meet in the middle. So we'll just slide this piece off and we'll open up our flaps, and on the inside is where you're going to have your message. And the message is from the Happiest of Birthday stamp set, which also is retiring. I stamped that in Blackberry Bliss. And when you open up the inside is where you can put the gift card. So this was created using the Envelop punch board and the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper. So let's get started. I'm going to do the same card, but I'm going to use some slightly different shades. I'm going to start off with a piece of Tranquil Tide cardstock, which is 8.5 by 5.5 that I've scored at 2 1/8. We'll merely fold the flaps over, take our bone folder, burnish the edges down nice and crisp, rotate it around, and do the same thing. And fold those down. Now we'll take some of the Designer Series paper and we'll layer it on top of the card with some white cardstock just to give it your borders or your edges or your framing. So you'll have to cut 4 pieces of Whisper White cardstock that measures it measures 2 inches by 5 3/8. So we have 4 of those, and then we'll have 4 pieces of Designer Series paper, the Fine Art Floral, that measures 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and we'll adhere those together. Let's just go ahead and do that, and we'll put the panels on. All right, so let's take our Designer Series paper and our white cardstock, set them out. I'll grab some Tombow and I'll adhere these panels together. You could use whatever side you like on your card. I'm going to use the one that has the floral showing on the front. And if you even wanted to switch it up, you could, on the inside, switch it up so that the Designer Series paper with the sort of wash is exposed on the other side. Okay, so there's our first one. I really enjoyed using this paper. It's really pretty. It's unfortunate every year, you know, we retire things, you know, you just get using things and you really like, and then we move on to something else. But I have to tell you that the new catalog that's coming out on May 4th is absolutely stunning. There's some Designer Series paper in there that will definitely become my favorite. And if you're in need of a catalog, be sure to leave me a message. Send me an email. I'll mail one out to you if you're in Canada. And I'd be happy to get that to you. So maybe I will do the inside just to switch it up a little bit and put the painted texture layer facing up, just to give it a different little look and feel. Okay. And don't worry about the measurements. I'll make sure that I have included them on the at the bottom of this video in terms of all the measurements of all the Designer Series papers and all the layers that we have on this card. Okay, so we'll place that down like that, and we'll start adhering these panels to our card. Okay, so bringing in the card, I will take our first panel. And I'll adhere that here. And you can see I've just created a small border. There's only 1/8 of an inch border for each of these pieces. And we'll do the other one while we've got it out. Once these are done, then I'll go ahead and layer the panels on the inside. Now I usually like to fold this down because I like to make sure that the bottom layers are aligned with each other so that everything is symmetrical. Okay, so that gives us that layer. Oops, just shifted it a little bit. There we go. Now we'll do the inside ones as well. I like using Tombow. It makes it so much easier to put your papers down or your layers. And if you make, if you don't get it straight right away, you've got that little bit of leeway to ensure that you can move them and straighten them out. Let's have a look here. Bring this one up just a little bit. There we go. Open up this panel and do the same on the other side. Now when I put this down, I want to make sure that it looks the same. I think there's a little bit of a difference. You see how it's darker up at the top than the bottom, so I'm going to make sure that aligns with the other panel on the other side. And just like so. All right, so that gives us that section. Now, I have here a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I've said measures 4 1/8 by 6. I've scored it at 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to fold that panel back. This is going to tuck over the center of the card. Now I pre-stamped it using the stamp set. This time I've stamped it in the Tranquil Tide. And I'm going to use, in this case, some of the Terran tape to hold that piece down because I want to make sure that it stays in place. But the first things that I want to do is I want to make sure that is a nice crisp fold and that is burnished well so that it'll help to hold it, stay flat within the card when you assemble it. So got some Terran tape. I think I'll just grab this one here and I will place it on the inside here. Okay, so I'll line it up so that it goes from end to end and then we'll rip it off. Burnish that down and then that'll help to release that backing for us. And then I'll just take my scissors just to get it started and peel it off. And then we'll bring our card back in. And we'll start by centering the card here so that it's centered left to right. And then I'll fold the flap down. Maybe I'll do it this way. It's a little easier sometimes to change the direction in which you're holding it. And then just press that down. There we go. And that's all there is to that. So that creates the panel on the inside of the card. So I'll set that aside for the time being. Like I said, I've already punched this out using my envelope punch board, and I'm just going to fold up the flaps on the bottom and on the sides. And I'm going to adhere that on the inside of the card. Now, if you don't have the envelope punch board, you could probably create this with just using a little 3x3 envelope that we sell instead of trying to figure out what the measurements are for it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. I think I'll use some snail on this one just to hold that little piece together in the center. Like so, and then I'll run some along the edges here. Oops. And fold that up like that. And that will then tuck in the inside here. And you want to make sure that, it doesn't interfere with that fold. And if it does, all I've done is I've taken my scissors and I've just snipped off the top just so that I can ensure that it tucks inside and it doesn't get bent out of shape or it doesn't interfere with that fold. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more off the edge because I didn't make it very straight. There we go. Okay, and that whole piece is going to be adhered directly onto the back or the inside of this. So we'll take our snail and we'll just run it along here. And then we'll place the envelope on the inside. I'll just center it left to right, like so. Okay, perfect. I like that actually, where it has the matching panels to the inside, whereas on this one, the panels didn't match. I mean, either is just as nice, but I kind of like the look of that. So, all right, so let's finish this off with our butterfly punch. So I had pre-punched those as well, and I will place one little butterfly here and then another one on the front with the belly band. So I'll just probably use Tombow, put a little bit down the center of the butterfly, like so. I don't need to adhere the whole thing down, and I'll place it here. And I'll let that dry. And to create the belly band, it was a piece of 12 by 3/4 inch. And I ran this through the embossing with the embossing folder that's called Meadow Moments, and I had to run it through twice. So first it went in this way, and then I ran it again through here, just so that I could have a complete complete embossed look. So while we're waiting for our stuff to dry, all we'll do is we'll take this piece here and we're going to adhere this to the, well, we're going to adhere the pieces together at the back, but I'm just going to more or less eyeball to see that this is sort of even with that piece, and then I'll give it a fold down that way, and I'll fold it up this way. And I'll flip it over and then just align those pieces. Now you don't want to make this too tight, or it's going to be a little tricky to slide on and off. But just enough so that it remains relatively firm in place. So I'll use Tombow on this as well, and I'll put it here, just like so. Okay. All right. Now, the one last piece that we have to do, oops, I better hold that while it sticks together, is just to go ahead and punch out from white cardstock again, this time using the Label Me Lovely punch, running that through your die cutting machine with the same embossing folder that you used with the belly band, which is the Meadow Moments, and we'll just place that right on the front like so. I'll do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to put some adhesive right down the center here, and then I'll adhere that to the belly band. And get top to bottom here, make sure that it's centered. And slide it a little bit more. There we go. And then our little butterfly will go in the center here. Again, I'll use some Tombow just down that center section. Place it right in front, like so. And to finish it off, I'll use some of the In Color enamel dots just to finish down the center. So in this case, I'm going to use, I could use any one of these colors. I think I'll probably go with, blue might be nice, or I could just go with yellow or green. And we'll go green. Okay, grab a paper piercer, and I'll just slide these guys off and put them right in the center. You know, you could even do a multicolor if you wanted to. You could change it up, but completely up to you how you finish it off. But I'll just use the Just Jade for today. All right, one more here. Sometimes these are a little tricky to get off. They like to stick to places they're not supposed to. There we go, right there. Okay, so there we are. So that's your gatefold with a hidden gift card holder. And then again, it just slides off and it pops open like this, and you can put your gift card on the inside. I hope you enjoyed this card. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It's Tracy at For the Love of Stamping. And like I said, all the measurements will be listed below the video. Have an awesome day. Thanks for watching.